You love your helm to feel when I'm knocking for us.
Gather round the fire, wolf cubs. Wash the dirt off your faces, put down those wooden swords, and open your ears. Today I'm not going to tell you fairy tales about how Thor got drunk again and smashed someone's skull with his hammer. Thor is a good lad, sure, if you need a wall knocked down or a sea of ale drained. But when it comes to real courage, well, that's a different story entirely. Today I'll tell you about Tyr. Most of you think Tyr is just another god of war. You imagine him as some berserker, drooling and swinging an axe at anything that moves. Wrong. Tyr is the god of proper war, the god of law, honor, and justice. Odin, the All-Father, can outsmart anyone. He's as cunning as an old fox. But when the universe needs someone who won't lie, won't betray, and will do what must be done regardless of the pain, everyone looks to Tyr. To understand what real courage is, you must hear the story of the wolf. You've all heard of Loki. That red-headed troublemaker was always finding new ways to get into trouble. But once he outdid himself. He sired monsters, and the most terrifying of them was Fenrir, the giant wolf. At first, when Fenrir was just a pup, the gods brought him to Asgard. You know how it goes. Oh, look at the fluffy little thing. Let's keep him. Idiots. This fluff ball grew faster than a bad rumor. He ate as if he were slamming protein shakes and beef mince by the barrel every single day. With each passing sun, he grew larger. His eyes burned with a wild flame, and his fangs looked like broadswords. Very quickly, the gods realized they had a problem. When Fenrir simply stretched, the earth shook. When he growled, the hearts of even the bravest warriors in Valhalla skipped a beat. The gods began to fear him, all except one. Only Tyr had the iron will to go near the wolf and feed him. Only he looked into those yellow eyes without flinching. But even Tyr knew the beast would soon grow beyond control, and then Asgard would be finished. The gods held a meeting. Odin sat on his throne. Thor nervously scratched his beard, and Freya rolled her eyes. They decided to bind the wolf. But how do you bind something the size of a mountain? They decided to play on his ego. They forged a massive chain, called it Leidingir, and brought it to Fenrir.
Hey, puppy! We're having a bet on how strong you are. Let us tie you up, and you see if you can break this chain. It's just a game.
Bind me!
The gods wrapped him in lading, tightening the knots. Fenrir simply stretched. Crack! The chain shattered into pieces like dry pasta.
Oh, wow, you're so strong, brother. Well done.
Then they ran off to forge a new one. This time they made the chain dromy. It was twice as thick, with links the size of a house. They hauled it to the wolf. Fenrir narrowed his eyes. He realized this wasn't quite a game anymore. But pride is a dangerous thing. He allowed them to bind him again. This time he had to put in some effort. He stood up, shook his fur, tensed his muscles. Bang! Dromi burst, and its shards flew in all directions, nearly hitting the Aesir themselves. Panic in Asgard reached a fever pitch. If metal couldn't hold the beast, what then? And so Odin, as usual, decided to use magic and someone else's hands. He sent a messenger to the dwarves in Svartalfaheimur. Dwarves are greedy folk, but their hands are golden. Odin ordered a tether that could not be broken.
The Allfather requires a chain to bind the wolf. Will you forge it? What price for such a bind?
We shall make it unbreakable.
And the dwarves made it. They called it Gleipnir. Do you know what it was made of? Listen closely, and don't you dare laugh. It was forged from 6 things that do not exist in nature. The sound of a cat's footsteps, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear. Yes, dwarves have a specific sense of humor. The breath of a fish, and the spittle of a bird. When the messenger brought Gleipnir, the gods were disappointed. It looked like a thin, smooth silk ribbon. But that ribbon was stronger than anything in the 9 realms.
We're going to tie a mountain monster with this thread?
The gods invited Fenrir to the island of Lyngvi, in the middle of Lake Amsvartnir. A perfect spot, far from home, surrounded by water, nowhere to run. They showed the wolf the ribbon.
Look, Fenrir! We found this little ribbon. It's thin, but tough. Try to break it. If you can't, we'll untie you ourselves. We're just playing.
Fenrir lowered his massive head. His nostrils flared. He smelled the magic. He smelled the deceit.
I am no fool, Allfather. If this is a normal ribbon, there is no glory in breaking it. But if it is made of magic and trickery, you will not untie me. You fear me. I will not be bound.
The gods began to coax him, flatter him, mock him. What? Are you afraid of a silk thread? Where is your courage?
Fine. I will let you put this thing on me. But to prove there is no betrayal, let one of you place his right hand in my maw. As a pledge, if you deceive me, you know the price.
Silence fell. What a magnificent, thick silence it was. Suddenly, all the gods found very interesting things to do. Thor began to inspect his hammer. Odin stared into the distance. Freyr suddenly remembered urgent business elsewhere. No one wanted to risk their hand. They all knew. No one was going to untie the wolf. This was a guaranteed loss. True courage isn't when you swing a sword knowing you're stronger. True courage is when you know you will be hurt, that you will lose a part of yourself forever. But you step forward anyway because it is necessary. Because without it, the world will fall into the abyss. Tyr stepped forward. His face was as calm as the ice on the fjords. He didn't give a grand speech. He didn't look for approval. He simply walked up to the giant wolf, rolled up the sleeve of his tunic, and calmly placed his strong, muscular right hand, the hand of a swordsman, the hand of a warrior, right into Fenrir's maw. The wolf closed his jaws, not all the way, but enough for Tyr to feel the breath of death. The gods quickly threw Gleipnir over the wolf's legs. Fenrir lunged. Once. Twice. The harder he fought, the tighter the magical ribbon bit into his flesh. It became harder than diamond. The wolf realized it was over. He realized he had been betrayed. His yellow eyes met Tyr's. In the wolf's gaze was fury. In Tyr's gaze was unbreakable acceptance. Tyr knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't try to pull his hand away. He stood straight as a cliff. Fenrir snapped his jaws shut. The sacrifice was made in an instant. The gods all burst out laughing with joy that the monster was caught. They all roared with laughter, celebrating their cunning. All except Tyr. Tyr didn't scream. He didn't fall to his knees. He silently stepped aside, holding his wounded arm. He paid the price for the peace of the whole world. His price. Alone. While the others rejoiced like children, Tyr stood and watched the wolf. He understood. Order demands sacrifice. Sometimes to keep justice you have to give away a piece of yourself. From that day on, Tyr became the one-handed god. The god of honor. Do you think he retired? Ha! Even with only his left hand, he remained a deadly warrior. When Ragnarok comes, the end of the world, Tyr won't hide behind anyone's back. He will go out to fight Gleipnir, the Hellhound. It will be a battle of two giants, the ruthless hound and the unbreakable god. They will kill each other, for such is fate. But Tyr will meet his fate standing tall. So the next time you whine about it being hard to get up for your workout, when you think that skipping your exercises or eating sweets is no big deal, remember Tyr. Remember the god who consciously made a sacrifice to do his duty. Discipline and responsibility. That is your true weapon. And so All-Father Odin saved Asgard from the monster's maw. But Tyr would carry his grim wound until the end of days. The price of victory is often paid in blood, and even the gods must bleed for their cunning tales. But do you know what price Odin himself had to pay to grasp the ultimate wisdom of the cosmos? Why did the Great One sacrifice his right eye? And what dark secrets did he uncover at Mimir's well? The answer awaits you right here. Click the link in this video about Odin and journey into the shadows where the fate of the 9 realms was forged. May your axes stay sharp and your hearts unyielding. Until the next saga, my friends. Dear Se Godunum.